If you compressed Earth's entire history into a single 24-hour day, humans would only show up in the last few seconds before midnight. We are newcomers to a stage that was set, managed, and maintained by actors far older and stranger than we realize. We walk on soil they created, breathe air they synthesized, and build our civilizations on stone laid down by their ancestors. These are the silent Sentinels organisms that have witnessed the drift of continents, the burning of ancient skies, and the rise and fall of dinosaurs. From the crushing pressures of the abyss to the thin air of the highest peaks, these ancient guardians hold the secrets of our planet's past and, perhaps, the keys to its future. This is their story. Our journey begins not in a lush forest, but on a desolate, rocky coastline in Western Australia, at a place called Shark Bay. Here, protruding from the shallow, turquoise waters, are strange, cauliflower-shaped rock formations called to the casual observer, they look like lifeless stones. In reality, they are living monuments built by colonies of cyanobacteria, direct descendants of the most important organisms in Earth's history. 3.5 billion years ago, Earth was a toxic, alien world. The atmosphere was choked with methane and carbon dioxide. The sky was likely orange, and the oceans were green with iron. There was no free oxygen. Life was confined to the shadows. Then, the ancestors of these Stromatolites evolved a biological magic trick: photosynthesis. They began harnessing sunlight to split water molecules, releasing a waste product that would change everything. For hundreds of millions of years, these silent sentinels pumped oxygen into the oceans. This was a slow, violent process known as the Great Oxidation Event. It caused a mass extinction of anaerobic microbes, but it paved the way for complexity. Without these bacterial mats turning the sky blue and the oceans hospitable, no animal, no plant, and certainly no human could ever have existed. Today, standing in Shark Bay, we are looking at the great-great-grandparents of every breath we take. Moving forward in deep time to the Devonian period, roughly 400 million years ago, we encounter a landscape that defies imagination. There were no towering trees yet. The tallest plants were merely waste, yet punctuating this flat landscape were massive biological spires, standing up to 26 feet tall and a meter wide. For over a century, scientists were baffled by fossils of these giants, named were they conifers? Algae? It turns out, they were giant fungi before trees dominated the skyline. Giant mushrooms ruled the earth. These fungal titans were the original their mycelium vast underground networks of thread-like cells drilled into solid rock, releasing acids that dissolved stone and extracted minerals. In doing so, they began the slow, grinding process of creating soil. While prototaxites are long extinct, their descendants, mycorrhizal fungi, are the secret engine of the modern world, beneath every forest floor in North America. From the redwoods to the Appalachians lies the wood wide web. This fungal network connects trees, allowing them to communicate, share nutrients, and even warn each other of pests. These fungi are the glue of the biosphere, the silent brokers of the forest economy, proving that cooperation, not just competition, is a rule of survival. High in the White Mountains of California, in a landscape so dry and windswept it resembles Mars, lives a tree named Methuselah. It is a Great Basin bristlecone pine, and it is over 4,850 years old. When the Egyptians were laying the first stones of the pyramids, Methuselah was already a sapling. When the Roman Empire fell, it was already an ancient giant. It has stood silent while humanity moved from the Bronze Age to the Space Age. These trees are masterpieces of resilience. They don't survive in spite of the harsh environment, but because of it. The brutal wind polishes their wood to the hardness of stone, protecting them from rot and insects. They grow so slowly that a century of growth might add only an inch to their girth. Just a few hundred miles away, in the Sierra Nevada, stand the giant sequoias. If bristlecone pines are the endurance runners of nature, sequoias are the fortress builders. Their bark can be 2 feet thick, filled with tannins that make them nearly fireproof. In fact, they rely on fire to clear the brush and open their cones. These trees tell us a story of climate. By analyzing their tree rings, scientists can read the history of droughts and rainfall in North America spanning thousands of years. They are living climate records, silent sentinels that have weathered storms we can scarcely imagine, warning us that the climate has always been a volatile beast, and that stability is a luxury. We now leave the sunlit world behind and dive into the crushing darkness of the Pacific Ocean. 2 miles down, where the pressure can crush a submarine, we find the most alien ecosystem on Earth. Hydrothermal vents. Discovered only in 1977. These towering chimneys spew superheated water rich in sulfides and heavy metals. By all logic, this should be a dead zone. Instead, it is teeming with life. Here, giant tube worms, growing up to 8 feet tall, sway in the toxic currents. They have no mouths and no stomachs. Instead, they host billions of symbiotic bacteria inside their bodies. These bacteria perform chemosynthesis, converting the toxic chemicals from the Earth's crust into energy. These organisms challenge the very definition of life. They prove that life does not need the sun to exist. It only needs energy and water. This discovery has profound implications for our search for life beyond Earth. If these sentinels can survive the hellish conditions of the deep sea, could similar life exist in the oceans of Jupiter's moon Europa, or beneath the ice of the guardians of the abyss suggest that life is far more stubborn and ubiquitous than we ever dared to dream. Our final journey takes us to the Arctic tundra, a frozen expanse of permafrost. Here, the sentinels are microscopic. In 2018, scientists drilling into the Siberian permafrost thawed out soil samples that had been frozen for 42,000 years. To their shock, microscopic roundworms within the soil began to move. They ate. They reproduced. These organisms had been frozen since the Pleistocene. They went to sleep when woolly mammoths walked above them, and woke up in a world of airplanes and the internet. This state of suspended animation, known as cryptobiosis, allows life to pause the clock. Similarly, ancient mosas buried under glaciers for centuries are now emerging as the ice melts and they are turning green and growing again. These zombie plants are warnings. As they woke up, they tell us that the freezer of the world is failing. They are the sentinels of climate change, emerging from their icy tombs to witness a warming planet. From the oxygen-pumping Stromatolites to the fire-resistant redwoods. From the rock-eating fungi to the chemosynthetic worms of the deep, these silent sentinels share a common truth. Life is tenacious. It shapes the planet as much as the planet shapes it. We humans often view the Earth as a resource to be consumed, or a backdrop for our history. But these ancient organisms remind us that we are merely guests. They created the livable atmosphere. They built the soil. They maintain the chemical balance of the oceans. As we face our own ecological crises, we would do well to listen to the secrets of these guardians. They teach us about adaptation, symbiosis, and the long game of survival. They were here long before us, and if we are not careful, they will be here long after we are gone, silent witnesses to whatever comes next. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey through deep time. If you found the stories of these ancient guardians as fascinating as we do, please like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the wonders of our world. We'll see you next time.